Hey, I'm Karen Foushee. I'm one of the doctors at Paediatric Partners, and wanted to talk with y'all a little bit today about fever. So fever is every parent's concern, and doctors are concerned about fever too, but we really worry about fever a little bit differently depending on the age of your child. So as a rule, in a baby in the first 2 months of life, we worry about a rectal temperature, and I know everybody hates the rectal thing, but really a rectal temperature is the most accurate way, and your baby won't care, but a rectal temperature over 100.4. So if your baby runs a fever over 100.4, we'd like for you to certainly call your pediatrician, and they will want to see the baby, that day. Over 2 months, we start to worry a lot less about fevers. And so typically we aren't too concerned unless a baby runs a temperature over about 101. And even then, that's not an immediate need to go in and see your doctor, but that is a good time to go ahead and give a little Tylenol or give a little bit of Motrin, depending on your choice. We do worry if a baby consistently, and that would be 2 or 3 days, has a significant fever, so over 101, or even if the fever is not that high, but the baby's really not acting well, those are really the good signs for you to call the doctor and bring the baby in. Tylenol and Motrin are dosed by the baby's weight, and at most of your visits you're going to get a little sheet that tells you how much Tylenol or Motrin is the right amount for your baby. But if you ever have a question, we have a link on our website that has a chart that will tell you what's appropriate, the appropriate amount of those medications for your baby. I would mention there is something called a febrile seizure. Unfortunately, because it scares everybody to death, but occasionally a baby will have a really high fever all of a sudden, and they will have a febrile seizure. Now that's not it's not epilepsy, but it is just a response to a really, really high fever. If that ever happens, and we'll hope not for your sake, you definitely want to call the doctor right away, and we would want to see the baby or even have the baby seen in the emergency room. The other thing I just want to mention really quickly, there's lots of old wives' tales out there that you might come across or your great-grandmother might tell you about in treating fevers. I always tell my moms, fevers are really not a terribly dangerous thing. They're the body's way to help fight off infection, be it a bacterial infection or a viral infection, and so in some respects it's a good thing when your child has a fever. So you want to be careful that your treatment of the fever isn't worse than actually having that fever. So no alcohol baths, don't put them in a cold tub. I mean, lukewarm is fine, but not a cold tub. Don't rub them down with all kinds of crazy things. Just give them a little Tylenol or Motrin and watch and see how they do.